My first question is, why is this main character's name Jess?
I'm not very creative, and yeah, I kind of wrote it based off of myself, obviously, and then I think one of the reasons also was I was casting my parents, and they're not actors, and I wanted to make it easy for them when they're doing a scene, so less for them to like memorize. So, yeah. That's good. I don't know what other name I would like.
And then, do they live in Maryland?
Yeah, my parents live in Maryland. That's their house. Don't stop them, please. If you stop by and say hello, they'll give you a water. And
So can you say why you filmed in Maryland? And then I'd love to hear from the producers too about the experience of shooting in Maryland.
Oh yeah, Angela has a lot to say about that. That's where I grew up, the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. And that's my childhood home. It has a special place in my heart. I live in LA now, but I don't know. I always wanted to make a movie in my hometown. I love the way that place looks. And yeah, we did half in LA and half in DC. The restaurant, my parents' house, were DC, and then the DC streets were DC, and then Fanny's house and the USCIS scene at the end was LA.
And Angela.
Yeah.
Logistically, we had a lot of conversations about whether we should go to DC or not. At the end of it was Jeff was very clear. This is a deal breaker, and we had to figure out how to make that work. And making compromises to make that vision happen.
I unfortunately didn't go to the DC part, which I really did, but it's also really kind of like a fun experience. I didn't go because I was actually in the process of applying for my own visa, so I really relate to Fanny in the film. But I think the really fun part about the DC was because a lot of the backgrounds were family friends from Jeff, and everybody was so friendly. I was involved in the prepping time for filming DC, and applying for locations, talking to the officials there. They were really nice and really supportive, and that's such a dream for LA filmmakers. And that was a really fun experience to know that we brought the whole team over to DC, and that turned out really well.
I'd love to ask about the cast as well. If Jeff, you wanted this for you, but I'd imagine the character Effy played was kind of a tricky character to play. Actually, can you talk about when you first met Effy and your initial impressions of her?
Yeah, we got really lucky because we got a casting director, Nicole Arbusto. And basically, her main objective was finding Fanny, and we had a lot of people, but Effy, there was something very natural about her audition, and yeah, when we first so it's kind of amazing because there were a lot of really talented people that we saw, but we were always drawn to Effy because of how natural she was. And actually Grace auditioned for Fanny also, and she was one of my favorites too because of how funny she was. But I think Angela said it early on, and I think Grace said this to me the first time we met, was that she looks really young, and it's kind of creepy to put us next to each other. But yeah, I think the first thing, when I met Effy, the first thing she said to me was, I told my manager that I was gonna get this part. And there's a cool, you have a awesome mysticism that I can't relate to because I'm nervous about everything, but she's yeah. If I could, I don't know, I don't believe things until it happens, but there's something about working with Effy that like really helped us like pull through the production because of how much like she believed and how much, honestly, like there were a lot of things that I had to fill out with the character as well, and I would ask her questions and she like was so prepared, and like I would be like, what do you think about, you know, this, like I'm not sure, you know, like with Fanny, like why does she want to do this, why does she want that, and she was like, oh, I totally understand, like this is, you know, based off like this is how I feel and all that stuff. But I don't know.
So Fanny, what was your recollection of first meeting Jeff and your impressions of him?
Well, I didn't catch the mistake vibe off of him. No, but like, I recognize that this is a really sincere and really kind storyteller, and that that really make a difference, I think. Because story is, I'm gonna get woo for a minute, but I feel like story is how we learn about our own humanity, since from very, very before, like caveman time. And then to tell a story is really to open your heart, and then to put your heart in the story, and then that story connect with another heart. So that's how we form this connection. It's through story.
See, that's that mysticism I'm talking about.
I don't have any other language for that. But yeah, so if you are not generous, if you're not sincere about the story, then the story is really just a display, it's a showcase of something. It's gonna be hard to make connection, because we feel things and we see things, even we, like conscious mind, we don't know what we're seeing, we catch the vibe. So I saw him and I was like, okay, this story is solid. We're good.
And for both Effy and Grace, like, I don't know if you've been in a situation before when you are being directed by the person you're acting with. Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Grace, do you wanna go?
Well, I think Jeff is a great scene partner where I felt like the entire time he gave me a lot of freedom as an actor to improv and to play off the energy in the room. And I think that was like one of the most fun parts about this movie, was that it didn't really feel like acting. I have an older brother, and Jeff and I, like, it throughout the course of shooting, it felt like I was there with my brother, just like hanging out. And I think a lot of what you saw on the screen was improv, and I really wanted to, yeah, I think, you know, having a director that is also, you know, play, just do whatever, and then being able to do that with Jeff has been phenomenal, and like one of the best directors I've worked with.
The look you give him when he's about to spill the beans to the crowd.
Thank you.
I don't know, Effy, if you wanted to add anything to that.
Sure. So it's definitely less intimidating when my director is also my scene partner. It's easier communicating wise because we have to get on the same frequency. We have to talk it through. So he cannot just give me notes of, I want you to be more mad in the scene, because he's gonna be my partner. I think that makes a difference. We are talking in the same language, and I'm not seeing him as a director, but more as a scene partner or more of a friend. We're making a project together. Yeah.
You look like you're about to say something. No, okay.
Thanks, guys.
And then a question for both you and Norbert, the cinematographer. I mean, much of the style is, many scenes are long takes. You're watching two people and the camera's not really cutting for a very long time. How much of that was just because he's the director, and I don't know if that's a way to get around that, or if that was part of your approach to humor and drama?
Yeah, I mean, so much of the film is surrounding these conversations and these interviews that are happening. So we were trying to figure out ways to, you know, there's that point where the point of view of the actors looking straight at the audience, and it's this idea of just being under the gun. And so we were trying to figure out ways in which the characters could be on the same side or opposite ends, and just placing them in ways where that connection is either happening or it's not. And so we just wanted to do storytelling. So there's a simplicity in that. And I think we wanted the actors to just be able to take the scene.
Yeah. And then I think like stuff like the opening scene, it's just us two sitting on the couch. Like I made a documentary about my grandmother that played here, and the last scene is just me and her sitting on the couch. And I don't know how the audience felt, but when I watch something like that, I feel like it gets you like hooked into the story and also like get into the character's head and gives you time to like just sit there. Like I don't know about y'all, but like when I watch movies that are like sensory overload, I kind of like get really like frazzled and sometimes I pass out. But it's so, because like some of the slower movies that let me sit there and think about it and be there with them, like it draws me closer to the characters, and hopefully y'all felt the same.
Well, speaking of sensory overload, I mean, some of music can do that. You have too much music, and I feel like this movie does a really nice job of, it's not overloading us with music, but when it comes out, you're not afraid to be sweet as well. I know, Go, if you want to speak about the music.
Sure, well, I know these guys as friends, and they're super sweet people, so maybe that's why it's reflected. It was just really a joy and a privilege to work on this, honestly. Yeah.
So as I was like watching this again, I was thinking about, like this is first of all, it's so refreshing to see an Asian American rom-com. And I was thinking like, what are some other Asian American rom-coms I like? And I thought of one, and it also featured where the actor played himself, a sub-version of himself with his own name, and that was Go Nakamura and the Surrogate Valentine trilogy. I'm curious if, like, did you ever have a conversation about this?
I don't know. Maybe. It's just very surreal. As long as the mornings I wake up, I'm like, did that happen? Just very dreamlike. But I guess it's sort of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you're playing a strange, bizarro version of yourself.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt?
Every day of my life. Also, me, Angela, and Norbert are big fans of Go, and honestly, we had a lot of conversations in pre-production because we knew him from hanging out at like film festivals, and we were kind of like, do you think Go would do this? Because we felt like we were kind of out of his league, maybe. But yeah, we were so lucky when he said yes, and he wrote 2 lovely songs for us. That, yeah. Thanks, man.
Love to open up to questions in the audience. If anybody has questions, yeah, back there.
Hi, so my name is Zachary. I'm here with Profit Bright Lights. And what Effy was mentioning about, the storytelling thought, kind of something from the heart. So I kind of want to piggyback off that and just ask, so what was like your inspiration for making that movie? What drove you to make this movie?
Yeah, it's gonna open up. I did. I kind of write from a personal place, and this is kind of based off of something that almost happened to me a long time ago. I had graduated college, and I was living with my parents, and I was broke, and I was lonely. And I was set up on a blind date with a girl from China, and I took her to see Dark Water because or Open Water because she didn't speak English, and I thought the only movie she would understand is a movie about 2 people getting eaten by sharks. Anyways, I didn't think it went really well. And then a few days later, my real sister, Jessica, came up to me and she's like, they're gonna offer you a lot of money to marry her, right? And I was like, oh shit. Like, so I started thinking about it, and money and this kind of companionship, this might be the answer to all my problems in life. So I wrote this character based off of that lack of wisdom, and just kind of imagining, jumping into that situation with that, and then the dynamics of Jeff and Fanny is actually kind of based off of my lessons that I've learned in love with my girlfriend who I was dating at the time, who's now my fiance. Yeah, it was kind of weird in the beginning because she was very like guarded, and I tried to get her to like open up a lot. And there are times where we like would go back and forth. It's kind of like, why are we dating? What are we doing? And I think it took like Jeff in the movie, like once I slowed down and kind of like looked at her for who she is, I started to ask myself, do I love this person and not who she could be for me? And then she started opening up, and that's how our relationship blossomed. And she's still kind of guarded a little bit, but my favorite thing in the world is making her laugh. And so, yeah.
Beck.
In the bedroom, towards the end of the movie, Effy's character says a phrase in Mandarin Chinese. That was the only line that did not have a translation on the screen. Can you tell us the translation?
Yes. Jog my memory. Brielle, did you come up with this, or Effy, did you come up with it?
I think
I'll let-
Brielle, right? They
You did?
collaborated.
Okay. Who wants to reveal the?
Brielle, do you want to do?
The literal translation for that is, so the phrase is 如假似真, meaning it's something fake, but the fake almost looks real. Unless Jeff, you have like more meanings that you want to add on top of that.
That's perfect.
Questions? Yeah, right here.
I have a question. So in the last scene, do you feel, I know it's into our own interpretations, that did they end up together still? Do you think? I don't know. Do you feel like how would it do they stay together? Or will they get into
Yeah, I get this question a lot because, yeah, people want to know. I will say that I find the ending fitting to what the movie's about, which is getting to know somebody on a deeper level, and that requires a lot of thought on your own part. And I like movies that kind of leave you thinking about the characters, and if I did my job right, hopefully you'll think about Jeff and Fan. But yeah, movies like The Band's Visit and stuff like that, where you just get so, like, you care about them so much that you want to know. But to answer your question, I would say, I've been saying at Q&As that based off of the tone of the movie, that I don't think I made a movie about a guy who goes to prison and a girl gets
All right, we can all sleep at night. That was an
Sure. So when your parents came on, I was like, oh, you're like the nicest people ever. So I guess we have people who can attest. Yeah, not yes or no, if like you were like the sweetest parents ever we met. Yeah, I just imagine.
Yeah, you guys can share your experience. I have my own growing up with them.
I have, yeah, but just once.
Well, I can say that they are the most sweet and cutest people that I've met. Especially Michael, he gets so excited over so many things. He's like a kid. So yeah, I find that lovely.
So the filming of the part in the house, it was their actual house, and you know, being on set and having your house turned into a movie set is kind of like a upheaval. And there were so many people there, and they were offering food out of their own fridge and water and all these things to all of us, and it really felt like we were in like our parents' home and not on a set. So I think they made us feel really, really welcome, and that made shooting really easy. And it didn't really feel like coming to work. It was like, oh, we're gonna go over to Jeff's parents' house and hang today.
Is that, yeah. Also, we have a latecomer, Lance, who did the sound on the movie. Lance stayed in my childhood bedroom during the shoot. Yeah, my parents. My dad is the source of a lot of my therapy sessions. But I love movies because of my parents. I grew up watching movies with my parents and my grandparents, so you know, the opportunity to make them movie stars came, and I took advantage of it. My mom was really shy. My dad was, like Effy said, really excited, so much so that he's not here, so I can say this, but he was probably the most annoying person to work with. So, yeah.
Got time for a couple more questions? Yeah.
I think you folks did a great job. I really enjoyed them.
Thank you.
And also, how did you get the scenes to be so empty when you were downtown?
Yes.
Yeah, I know DC relatively well, so I know like the pockets that we could film, but also we were just there very late at night and nobody was there, and that was actually part of the reason why we shot in DC too, was because it's cheap to film there, and our permit was for like certain streets, but we noticed that like nobody came to check up on us, so we just went wherever we wanted. So, yeah. Also, we got the restaurant for free too. That was another story.
Okay. Well, congratulations. It's such an amazing film.
Thank you.
So I do have a question, but I do want to comment that it's so refreshing to see characters who grown to know themselves, who are Asian American, through the situation. So the growth at the end I felt was really promising of like, it's not a hero's journey type of story, but it's kind of like they get to discover who they are with each other, even though it's subtle. So like that's what I took away from it, especially like the interview scene. So that was great, and also like good job with the writing the dialogues. That's so awkward. Because I think meeting you now, I get it where it's from. so it's amazing. I love how everything's connected. So I think the question I really want to like ask is, if given Effy, so your character, like, and if you can speak about your character, like, do you think Jeff and oh my God, I can't believe I'm thinking of her name. Fanny would Fanny like fall in love?
Wow, you really put her on the spot.
I mean, I'm just asking, like, you know, like, would you? I mean, feel free to be real.
Yes.
You can be honest.
I can only be honest. I'm not that smart. I think she would. But that's gonna be a long period of time for her to really recognize what just happened. Because I felt like in the movie, even during the interviews, there is a recognition for her. There's a recognizing moment for her to think, oh shit, I really like this person, and I really did change in this relationship. That's a start. Yeah.
I think we're out of time because we have another film coming in. But if you really want to ask a question, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that Jeff's dad is my favorite.
I'm not going to tell him. Thank you.
So what's up? What's next for the movie now? If people want to tell their friends about it.
They're working on distribution, so hopefully at some point it'll come out. We don't have an official Instagram, but if you want to follow me, I'll follow you back too. And I'll definitely post about it because we're broke and we need to make our money back.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to the entire team. Thank you for being here tonight.